Welcome back to our third episode of Success at State. The first two episodes we talked about getting oriented to Penn State and then student affairs and resources available to students. Today we're going to talk more about student academic rights, specifically academic policies at Penn State that students can utilize to their advantage when they believe that something is unfair or if a professor is violating a policy unknowingly in most cases, and are able to advocate for themselves for a more equitable academic experience. So, a little bit why I'm passionate about this. I served in the Faculty Senate for 3 years. For 2 of those years, I was the University Park student representative, so I represented all students here on my campus. And through that, I was successful in the creation and passing of policies that are still in place today, and I can point out a couple of those as we move along. But it's really exciting to see some of the policies that I got to write and work with leaders at this institution in creating benefit students today. So the first one we're going to start with is one of the most important for students to be aware of, and that is Policy 4920, Academic Integrity. So the university defines academic integrity as the pursuit of scholarly activity in an honest and responsible manner. The university and its members should not engage or must not engage in or tolerate acts of falsification, misrepresentation, or deception. This is a policy that most students are made aware of through their syllabus, through new student orientation, professors talking about it in class. But basically students who falsify their work, it is not their own, they copy from someone, they take answers from the internet, any of those kinds of actions, if they are caught, they can be brought up for academic integrity sanctions, which can have implications on grades, on attendance at the university, being an enrolled student, on ability of the student to continue successfully at Penn State or be removed from the university, depending on the extent of the offense, or they could just fail the class, which isn't good, but sometimes it's the best case scenario for academic integrity violations. The next policy we're going to talk about is number 4840. This is the deferred grades policy. So professors are able to submit what is known as a deferred grade, or a DF, as it would be noted on a transcript, when students are prevented from completing their coursework within the prescribed amount of time, which is typically a semester or summer semester, however long that course is supposed to run for. After that deferred grade is put into the gradebook, students have 10 weeks to complete the work that they missed, or additional assignments that the professor provides from a agreed upon plan made before the deferred grade is entered. A deferred grade is typically done for situations that can be emergency or non-emergency experiences, traumatic events that happened during the semester that prevented the student from being able to successfully complete their coursework, in regards to mental health, physical health, family concerns, anything along that nature. And that is a discussion that should be had between the student and the professor before the final examination period, so the last week of the semester where final exams are taken. So if the professor does not receive work, or the student and the professor do not complete what is necessary before the 10 weeks are up, the student will receive an automatic F for the class, a designation of failure that will be then calculated into GPA and reflected on the student's transcript. So it's extremely important to go into a deferred grade with a plan. Most of the times, professors are more than willing to work with students. They want to see us succeed, so it's important to have open communication with them. If you're using a Penn State office on campus and feel more comfortable having an advocate reach out on your behalf, that is definitely possible. I've seen it happen. I've worked with students in my role as a TA who needed such accommodations, and we are more than willing to have those talks, create a plan, and we want to see you succeed, in my experience. Next, we're going to talk about policy 43-00, the syllabi policy. So, first of all, the syllabus has to be distributed to students before or on the day of the first academic meeting, so the first class session. If not, then that's a violation of academic policy. Any changes that are made to syllabi over the course of the class, those need to be dispersed, and students must be notified either electronically or on paper, so they have a record of the change, and our professors make every effort to make students aware of such changes. This can be done through Canvas, through email, through paper in class, but there must be written notification of some sort. Topics that are required to be covered in a syllabus are the exam policy, what are professors requiring for examinations, what will they be, when will they be, and how much of the grade they will be. Any required course materials students need to purchase or find online. Anything that students are going to need to be successful in the course need to be put on the syllabi. A grade breakdown is also required, so this talks about what exactly is required in the course, such as an attendance policy, examinations, homework assignments, quizzes, those sorts of things. Those must be line itemed by percentage so that students understand what their grade will be made up of. And finally, there need to be course goals and objectives, so students are understanding what they should be getting out of this class and what the teacher or professor means to convey to them, and at the end of the course, what they should be able to communicate to others. The newest revision to this policy occurred in 2020. This was a addition for campus closures. So professors now must have a designated plan for the event that the campus closes. We've seen through COVID and through recent climate events that the university, especially in the spring semester, does close because it's unsafe for travel or unsafe to gather in large groups. So a new addition to syllabi are policies for when the university has to close, and the fact that professors cannot require a synchronous class session during the event of a university closure. Asynchronous is a different story. They can record a lecture, put it out to you, say you need to watch this by the next class period. That's okay, but requiring you to meet online on Zoom is not okay. That is not something that they are allowed to do, because the university recognizes that during a campus closure, not all students have access to the technology that they would if they were able to be on campus. Because of all these requirements, there is also a link to specific language. If you're curious or if you question what is on your syllabi, you can go to senate.psu.edu, find the policies for undergraduate students, and use the numbers that I've referenced in this video to find specific language that you can use when you believe there has been a violation of academic policy. One of the policies that I've referenced the most is policy 4420 for final exams. Basically, what this is saying is that we have finals week for a reason. The university puts in place study days, which is the weekend before pretty much. And we are given a week solely for final examinations. So, in the last week of classes, professors are not allowed to administer any kind of assessment worth more than 10% of a student's grade. That is what finals are for. I know a lot of professors are trying to be nice and get things out of the way before finals. Students go home early. It's great. But that is what finals week is for. Any assessment that is given, it's a final, and they're simply moving it up. So it's important that whether it is a project, a speech, an actual exam, any sort of presentation, those are considered assessments, which those assessments, if they are worth more than 10% of the student's grade, must be given during finals week. They can be given 2 weeks before finals week, but those last 5 days of class instruction are meant as class instruction, not examination time. And the university has made that clear. Finally, the one I want to talk about is class attendance, which is policy 4227. This basically outlines the reasons that students are allowed or should be given accommodations to miss class. These are called university-approved absences. They are largely used by student athletes for competitions that they must attend, for students who have field trips for other classes, requirements for other classes that are outside the normal scheduled time. For me, I had an excused absence from my classes on days where I was in faculty senate advocating for academic policy that was seen as a university-approved absence. But the most important thing is that documentation is received, given to you, and then you disseminate that to any professors for classes that are affected by your absence. So it is the student's responsibility to provide advance notice and official documentation, which the university does provide for actual university-approved absences. So that is all we are going to cover today. I hope you learned a little bit about the policies we have here at Penn State and how you can identify maybe some issues or where we can stand up and advocate for other students when there is a lack of understanding or a lack of awareness on academic policies here on campus and in your courses. See you next time.